Koala Trust. He's got a bunch, so I'm super thankful. Thanks for joining us. That's awesome. Let's see here. I'm playing some music. If it's like too loud or you can't hear me, let us know in the chat. And actually, I might turn the music down just a little bit more. Hang on, I got a little... I'm just gonna futz with some settings here real fast. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I'm just catching up on the chat here. So it looks like some people are wondering about what we're going to be doing today, what we'll be talking about. I'll probably be streaming for like about an hour today, and I'm going to be talking about GraphQL. We don't have a time to do a project from scratch. It sounds like there might be some interest in that, and I would love to do that. Let us know in the chat if you guys want to see us start a project from 0 and then go to 100, right? We want to see it all the way through to completion, because we can totally do that. For the sake of time today, I'm just going to be starting with a project that I've kind of already built, and we'll be kind of just focusing on just the GraphQL aspect of it. Okay, cool. Let's get started. I'm curious too, let's see here. Maybe I'll introduce myself. My name is Joe Karlsson. I'm a developer advocate. I work for MongoDB. I talk about mostly JavaScript, Node. I do a lot of front-endy stuff. Obviously with MongoDB, we talk a lot about data, databases, how that connects up to the front end. Because you can't avoid it, right? Any front-end application, any application you build pretty much needs a data component somewhere, somehow. And MongoDB makes sense a lot of time. But curious in the chat, if you want to ping us, who here knows about the brand new GraphQL endpoint that we just released a couple weeks ago? It allows you, we automatically create a GraphQL schema and API endpoint for you. Just clicking a button and it just creates GraphQL for you. So who knows about that? I'll wait for the chat to pick it up a little bit. We get a couple excited faces. Okay, yeah, it's news to a lot of people. I think we're trying to still get that out. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's one of the coolest features we have. I think it's incredible. It's a total game changer, especially if you're a front-end developer. It's a total game changer. It makes developing data applications on the front end so much easier. WASD, WSAT 1002. Thank you so much. You got a keyboard nerd joining us, I think. That's great. I dabble. What were we talking about? GraphQL. Oh, it's a total game changer. To be honest, a lot of my applications, like, I don't even set up a server anymore because I don't need to. There's a couple of them here and there, and we talk about those on the channel here too. But for most of my applications, just require like a simple CRUD app. Go get some data, save it. It's amazing. I just use this GraphQL endpoint to just go get that data and return it back to us. Okay. Let's do. And I'm curious too in the chat if you could let me know who here has had some experience working with GraphQL before. Has anyone worked with it before? And I also want to know who here is totally brand new to GraphQL. Never, like, I may know about it, but I don't know. I've never used it before. Can you ping me in the chat channel and let me know who does that pertain to? Ooh, yeah. Okay, cool. Rebecca wants to see 0 to 100. I love it. Real quick. I don't know if we'll do that today, but we'll for sure do that later. Okay, cool. Ticklewall, I think you're awesome. Dude, yes. I love when people are chatting with me. This is the best. Thank you so much. Ooh, that guy, Razil, you use it a couple times. Yep. I know. Maybe just like a couple GET requests. I know mutations can be a little more confusing. We'll be going through that today as well. GraphQL noob. Awesome, Rebecca. That's great. We love it. We love noobs on the channel. We love people who are just starting out with programming. It's great. Okay, let's see here. Let's talk a little bit about what GraphQL is. Then I'll talk a little bit about this brand new GraphQL endpoint that we have in MongoDB. And then we'll refactor an application I have to use this application. We'll kind of go through that from just setting up the GraphQL endpoint on it. All right, let's see here. And that Bandit Dave, thank you so much for the follow. We love to see it. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this here. I've got a slide deck I might actually pop open just for reference. We're not going to spend a lot of time in it, but I think I got some helpful little animations there. I think it did a good job explaining what GraphQL is, and why you should use it, and why this brand new feature is so useful. Okay. I'm streaming on a MacBook Pro, but sometimes it gets a laggy when I open up new stuff, so usually you can recover. Okay. We got a beach ball. The spinning beach ball of death. And we're back. Okay. Perfecto. Let's just actually... You know what? We're not gonna full screen it here. We'll just go big like that. So in the chat, everyone who's on the channel now, I want you to imagine the situation, right? These is pulled from a real life situation I've been in and had to deal with as a front end engineer. But so imagine you're building an application. You have an API endpoint. Cool, great, we're getting some data from it, and it returns a SKU, right? So like SKU is like what we use with like e-commerce stores. It's like basically a ID for a product that we sell. And we want to say, hey, get the recent orders for this user, and it returns an array of SKUs. But hold up, whoa, we got a new requirement. We need to actually show hydrated lists of orders. So that means like now we need more data than just the SKUs. We need to get like the product name, the price, the locations where it's available. We need to get the description, ratings. Like we need to get all the information from it. So the old API no longer works for us. The question is, what's the best way to update or get this new data that we need for new requirements on the front end? And as a front engineer with a traditional REST endpoint, there's like a million ways we could potentially go about this. So, right, like these are just some examples I threw together. Like maybe we make a brand new endpoint and we talk to the backend engineers and we say, hey, we need hydrated recent orders. Or maybe we call it hydrated SKUs. I don't know. Or maybe we do a query parameter at the end of it that says, hydrated true for this instance. Or maybe it's a header option, right? The point is there's a million different ways for us to request this data, and we need to... And it kind of, and it sucks. And think as this scales out to, there's a million backend teams. Each of them is doing this differently. It's even different within teams. There's no consistency, no order. But I do want to play this little animation here. So it's helpful to compare it for the traditional REST endpoints, right? As an engineer, we'll maybe make several requests out to several different services who use several different API endpoints and different ways to do it, and they go get it from different data sources. GraphQL solves this problem. GraphQL is a single unified endpoint that goes out and gets all the data you want for you and returns it back to you. Awesome. Super cool. And let's see, we got a late joiner. Awesome. LJ, hey War. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Hey, there's no late. They're just coming and hanging out. It's fine. It's a party, right? It's cool. You can hang out whenever you want with us. All right, so GraphQL, it solves a lot of the problems of like making inconsistent different ways of getting APIs across different services, and it unifies them on a single endpoint and a single way to get that data, which is amazing. Oh, it's so great. There's a lot of benefits of it. I'm not going to go into it. There's a lot of stuff on it. If you're curious, I do have a talk. I could probably post it on my YouTube. I'll post it in the chat channel here. It goes into detail of how this, like why you should use it and consider it. And it also will be going into the demo I'm going to be showing you today as well. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull it up. La la la. Give me a sec here. Okay. So GraphQL, unified thing, cool. We're doing good here. So we're 15 minutes in already. Time flies when you're talking about GraphQL, I swear. Or just programming in general. I don't know. I just love it. Okay. Point is, GraphQL makes working with data insanely easy, which is why it made so much sense for MongoDB to add this on top of their services. So let's take a look at this. Let's see here. In chat, I'm going to post the. This is like a slide deck, and hearing myself is the worst. And I'm gonna post that into the stream here. Okay, so let's take an actual look at how to actually make this work, and how the GraphQL endpoint works. So I have some clusters already created in MongoDB Atlas. If you look in the little bar below, if you want to sign up for Atlas, it's free. There's always free tiers, but you can get $200 in free Atlas credits if you use that code Joe Atlas 200, and everything's backwards over here, and then use that Bitly link. Okay, but let's see here. GraphQL demo. You know what I might just do is okay. Application name. So I have a cluster already created. I just want to make sure I create a brand new one here before I commit it here. So I have all the clusters here. They're already created. It takes a couple of minutes to set up, so I didn't want to do that. They're already set up and ready to roll. But what I'm going to do is set up a Stitch instance app on top of it. Stitch is it's like a data platform that sits on top of Atlas. Super cool, but you need it to use the GraphQL endpoint. And I want to set it up, and we can kind of explore GraphQL and how it works as we're setting it up. So I'm going to show you how to set that Stitch cluster up. So I'm going to click into this cluster I created. Actually, I don't need to do that. And down here on the left side, you see that Stitch. I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to create a brand new application on top of that cluster. So let's call this Twitch GraphQL demo. And we're going to link it to that cluster. Oops. I could call it my YouTube video, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Naming's hard, but it's not that hard. And great. Deploy that globally, default settings, no problemo. And let that go. This can take a minute or two, but it's not so bad. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, while that's loading up too, I'm just going to do a quick plug. So be sure to follow the Twitch channel. We do this stream every week, every Friday at the same time. We're going to be probably adding new shows here in the future too, so if you want to catch all of those, for sure, subscribe. Also, follow MongoDB on Twitter at MongoDB, and you can follow me if you like my streams too. You want to know when every time I'm on. That's at Joe Karlsson and the number one. We should be able to, and we'll be able to stay connected. Let's see here. This is still going. You know what? Maybe while that's... Oh, Skylar. The mug, it is pure ethanol in this mug. Also, coffee. It's a little bit of coffee added to it, too. I ran out of... Max, it's a whiskey. That's the only way I can get through these streams. That's why I stay so lively, is the whiskey. No, it's coffee. I ran out of almond milk this morning. I'm devastated. You know what I have been putting in here, though, is orange bitters. Has, oh my god. If this is empty, that'd be... What a great prop. I would love that. No, but orange bitters. It's been pretty great. I've been getting, like, just crappy coffee. Oh, Skylar. Yes. You read my... I love Bon Appetit. If they would get me on there, I would die. I would die for Claire and to join the Bon Appetit. If they need a programmer, oh my god. Oh, I would love that. And let's see here. These are the orange bitters. Can you see that? I don't know. I picked them up at like a fancy liquor store, and they really freshen up really crappy coffee. It's great. Okay, cool. Let's see here. The Stitch app got created. Only took like a minute. I don't know. I'm really impatient, so it felt like forever, but it's not that bad. So this is a brand new Stitch application. You can actually see up here this GraphQL thing. Introducing, there's some information when you first get started. If you want to learn more, you can click on that. I'm going to take you through it, so we don't have to worry about that. But let's get this started. You know what I'm going to do too? This app, I'm going to be showing you, well, you know what, let's just show the whole dang app right now. I could have done that before, but let's npm start. It's an Instagram clone, TM, copyrighted. It's called InstaPost. I don't know. But anyway, it allows you to basically upload and edit and delete and create brand new Instagram-like posts. Super simple. And everything is being hosted on MongoDB, and then we're doing all the transactions via GraphQL. All the instructions here, including all of the Atlas Stitch setup stuff, is in the repo. So I'm just going to post that in the chat channel. You know, I'm going to move this over here so it's... Can't see everything. There we go. Okay. Posted in the chat channel. Okay. So what this does, it actually, because we connected this up to our cluster, it allows us to, and this is so cool, it automatically generates a schema. So with GraphQL, you can enforce and validate the data that's coming in and out of your databases with a schema, which is awesome. And because with MongoDB, with the BSON data types, we actually know the data types of the data you're saving, right? It's a date or a Boolean or a string. It's more robust than regular JSON, which everything gets saved as a string in that format. So we can generate your GraphQL schema or make a really good guess at what that schema is going to look like, right? You can always change it, not a problem, but we can pretty much guess it out of the box. So link cluster, yep. So we have a GraphQL endpoint, but we need to actually go and finish setting this up. So link cluster, we're good. And GraphQL beta and settings. Here we go. No, explore. I think that's under rules. Add a collection. Okay. So we actually are. I need to. So this is a brand new Atlas cluster, so I need to set up some stuff in here. So let's call this like, we'll call this data. What is this database? InstaPost. And I'm just gonna, for the sake of the demo, I'm gonna put what this is. This is a Twitch demo. And collectioning. Ah, shucks. I think I need to go back and actually set up. I need to set up a brand new collection in that database too for us. Clusters. Oh, thank you, Max. Need to zoom in and make things. Apparently, things need to be of human readable size to be read. I forget these things. I forget. Okay. Close that, and let's go ahead. We'll jump into that that database. We're going to collections. I'm going to create a brand new collection just through the GUI, just for the sake of simplicity and ease. We'll just go ahead and set that up. So, add your first database. Cool. So now let's do this. Insta posts. We'll call this Twitch demo. And collection name, we'll call this Insta posts. Okay. So it's going to create a brand new database and it'll initialize that first collection for us. So here's the thing too with this. We need to actually tell, in order for the scheme to be generated, we need to put some data into it. So for this demo, I'm going to actually just get something started in here. Excuse me. So let's insert a brand new document. Call it description. And then we'll get some images off the internet. So foobar. And let's go to like giphy.com. And I'm just going to pull in a random GIF I find on the home page here. Okay. Ooh, that's a cute dog. Let's see here. Oh, Valentine's Day. That's right. Today's Valentine's Day. Let's do oh, fun. 20 awesome we're gonna make an anti-Valentine's Day Instagram account using this little demo. Ooh, fun. All right, let's do this one. So I'm gonna copy that GIF link and let's go back to Atlas, and I'm going to change this to Love Stinks. And then I'm going to add another field, and we'll call this image URL, and I'm going to paste that in there. Yeah, great. Does that go? We'll find out. Let's insert that into our database. All right, that worked great. So I'm going to create a couple more. So I'm just going to clone this, and then I'm going to change a couple of things. We'll find another GIF in here. Lots of farting GIFs. That's fun. Let's get another one though. Cool. Let's do this one. And let's copy or clone. There we go. That's what I want to do. Try it again. And what did that one say? Did I just do the same one again? No. Oh yeah, this is the one I want. This is the one I want. Ugh, Valentine's. Okay, great. I want to get different ones so that... Ugh, Valentine's. Let's see here. Curious too, who in the chat, anyone got a Valentine's Day? Anyone got fun Valentine's Day plans? I need some ideas. Ah, Max, thanks for getting that one. Stitch is Atlas only at this point, yes. I think a lot of the features that we, like Atlas, we get, you always get the cutting edge stuff on Atlas. It eventually trickles down to the community and enterprise editions, not always community, but and some of the stuff. But a lot of the features on here are, in fact, cloud only, Atlas only. Okay, great. So we have 2 documents set up in our collection. And now I'm going to go back to our endpoint over here, and I'm going to add that new collection we just created. So Twitch demo, got our Insta posts, permissions. Let's see here. No template. You know, we're going to keep this open. By default, Stitch is secure. So you have to set up all rules, and by default, no one can view the data. No other IPs can view the data, not even your own. So you have to initialize, you have to tell who can see that data and what they can do with it out of the box. Okay, so let's see here. I'm also going to allow everyone to read write, and then I'm going to save, and then I'm going to go to the schema. Now this is the fun part. So now that we've hooked it up to our database and our collection, we can generate a schema. So over here in the, can you guys see that? I'm going to move this over a little bit. There we go. So over here on the right side of the page, we have this generate schema button. This is so cool. You click one button and boom, it'll generate a schema. You can do some sampling, you can do some filtering. So if you have like a bunch of different documents in a same collection, you can pick just the subset you want to make a schema for. Since we're just starting out on this, we're going to use the whole thing. I'm not going to do any samples on it, but it's going to go through and it's going to, and it's going to generate your schema based on what you have in there. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so everyone can see what's going on here. So it goes to the collection name, sees it's Insta post, amazing, and then it tells you all the schema of the GraphQL schema of what that collection looks like, or what it thinks it should look like. You can make any changes you want here. So like here, title, a single instance is an Insta post, but if you ever want to change it or whatever, there is a weird thing you should note here. If your collection name ends with an S, there can be a hard time trying to figure out what a plural or singular version that is. So you always want to check that. But we're good. So Insta post. And I'm going to click generate schema. Oops, great. And you can also validate too. This will run like a subset or collection and make sure everything is working as expected. So, very cool. Now we have our schema set up. We have some permissions, so everyone can read write on that. I'm going to review and deploy this. This is going to deploy those security changes and that brand new GraphQL endpoint or schema we just generated. And that'll go off into the cloud. So, next part. Let's hook this up to our application. Let's see here. I'm going to try this again. Something I'm a little nervous about is whether or not I did npm install on this. I thought I did, but you know what? Sometimes you just never know. Okay. I'm going to pull the code base over and we can take a look at what's going on. We'll start digging into the fun code. Looks like something got messed up here. What is that? So that's on list page container. Expected identifier. What? Let's see here. Why don't you like that? You know what I'm going to try? I'm just going to comment this whole thing out. I'm going to try running this again, see what happens. No go. Okay, stream. Let's see here. I think, okay. I know what the problem is. npm install is not on here, which I thought it was. So what's going to happen? We might get a little laggy here while I run npm install. It just kind of happens sometimes, so bear with me. I'm going to try I'm gonna try running install. We'll see what happens. I think the fan on my computer will kick into overtime. I'm gonna catch it or watch the bit rate here on the stream and make sure we're good to go too. Okay. A little laggy. It's a little laggy. Not so bad. Not so bad. Yeah, Max is doing a great job clarifying what Stitch is too. I just want to reinforce what he's been talking about too. Stitch is a serverless platform that sits on top of Atlas. So basically, you have some cool features in Stitch, like MongoDB charts. It makes it easy to chart your data. Oh my gosh, we're lagging. And Ruby J0101, thank you for the follow. Yeah. I know we're still going in and out here. Sit tight, everyone. Hopefully it should be done here in just a sec. Hey, something's happening. Yippee! Oh. Oh yeah, things are moving. Oh, things are moving. You know, I try to do all the stuff before the stream and I always forget something. Every time. Let's see here. What's going back on over there? Max, I know your computer kicks serious ass. I'm impressed by it. I need something a little beefier for my streams. Actually, you know what? Maybe I got a fun idea. I'm gonna go grab my stupid cat here. Hang on a sec. Hey, you. Ivan, thank you for the follow. Okay. Hey, while this goes, we'll just have fun with my, Oh, there he goes. Boy, having that black cat really messes up the old green screen, doesn't it? Hey. You know, and also, I will say, having a cat, he's, like, not big on sitting on keyboards. I know a lot of cats. Yeah, the cat content. Oh, this is a cat channel? Great. Also, I'm noticing just introducing my cat to the stream messed up the green screen. I don't know how that happened. Let's see here. You know what? Screw it. Whatever. Oh, great. npm install. It's done. I think we're doing okay. Give it a sec. Usually it recovers after npm install, but we should be good to fire this up. And just for a status update, my cat, he's currently sitting on my desk with me, but he's right behind my monitor just staring out the window. He just needs some alone time right now, so maybe we'll grab him in a sec. Ooh, or I should get cat toys out. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay. Perfecto. Now we're getting this project fired up. Starting the development servers. Great. I just want to check in. How we're doing? We're back. Bit rate's recovered. Everyone who managed to stay with us through the npm install bitrate drop fiasco, I am so thankful for you. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, great. All right, we're doing great. Doesn't start up. No problem. I broke this on purpose. We need to add the GraphQL stuff to get it working just fine again. So, but this thing starts up. So we have to do a couple things when you're setting up a new project with GraphQL MongoDB. First thing with this project is we need to tell it where our Stitch cluster is. So in this repo, I have a little config_example. What I'm going to do is duplicate that. Oh, I thought there was a duplicate option there. No. So we'll just copy pasta. Cool. And then I'm going to rename it to just be config.js. And then what I need to do is paste in that app ID we get from Stitch. Looks like bitrate's struggling a little bit here. We doing okay? So let's go back to Stitch. And you can find your app ID actually up here in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm just going to paste that in here. That tells us where we are at, or like where our where it can go get all that data we need. All right, great. And next thing we want to do then is let's actually just do our getters. So I want to set up our list page that's going to show all that data, or show all of those. I already have the components that, like the dumb components that are just doing the rendering, but it's requesting. It's going to go through all the instance posts we have, and it's going to show the image and description of what it is in there. That's all this stuff does here. So let's get fancy here. So we have our component. Cool thing we can do here is we're going to be using Apollo to actually go get the data. Apollo it's like a wrapper for any of your front-end frameworks, Vue, React, Angular. They may have a Svelte, I'm not sure, but it can wrap any of your front-end frameworks. And as this use query React took built in, that we can just invoke. So I'm going to go ahead and initialize that. And we'll do const. And it returns 3 states. It does a loading state, an error state, and of course, a successful data state. And we're going to use that. Use query. and we're going to pass through a GraphQL query that will get it to work. I'm going to just call this find all Insta posts. And you can pass through an optional endpoint on there. You can also, I'm going to just have it do a pull interval. And it's going to pull every 500 milliseconds. Every half a second, it's going to go get freshest data from the back end. Okay. Okay, let's see here. The next thing I want to do is actually initiate or instantiate this find all post. So let's kind of set this up. I'm pulling from this GraphQL tag thing. It allows you to just copy pasta GraphQL queries and mutations straight from Graphical in here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of get this set up. We're going to go to Graphical, test out our, let's see here. There we go. And we'll figure this out. So back to Stitch. There it is. And we're going to go back to this GraphQL. Oh. Looks like we're still a little laggy. My streams always get laggy on the tail end. I don't know why that is. I think the computer can't catch up or something. Let's see here. I'm going to just let it sit for a second. And we'll see what happens. Could be running. Actually, you know what? I'm going to quit out of that for a sec. And let's see if that returns. Okay, so this is GraphQL. GraphQL is one of my favorite parts about GraphQL. It basically allows you to get rid of documentation for your backend endpoints because everything out of the box is, it shows you how it works. So if you boot up GraphQL, it has a default query to get all those, a single post. And you can see here I'm getting a single Insta post with this one. And I can search the documentation on here, so query, Insta post or Insta posts. And I want to get all of our Insta posts, so I'm going to add a little S there, and I'm going to run this query. And boom, you can see both of those documents we inserted earlier, that love stinks and Valentine's. So this is really easy. All I have to do is copy this query. I tested it in GraphQL, and then I can go back to my code base, and I just paste that in there. Just like that. So this GraphQL query will go and retrieve all of our posts and bring it back to us. So, and then I'm going to pass that through to that React hook that we set up earlier. Down here. And then we need to do something with it. So let's finish building out this component and we can test it out. So let's build out a... we're going to handle the different error states. We're going to handle the loading state, we're going to handle the error state, and we're going to handle the data state. So I'm going to use a React fragment. Great. And let's handle those different states. So I'm going to use JSX. If loading is truthy, then I'm going to be importing this loading component to have somewhere else. Oops, that should be ampersand, ampersand. And I want to show the loading component. Okay, I'm going to do something similar here. If error is truthy, then I don't have a error state on here, but I do have, we could just make something really dumb up really fast. So let's just make a little thing that'll show, we'll make a div, and I want it to show encountered an error, and we'll display the truthy error that pops up. And then, oh shucks, and then we need to close that div out, And I'm seeing here I forgot a little bracket over here. And then lastly, we want to make sure we're handling the most important state of all, the happy path. So I'm just gonna paste that under. And if data is truthy, so that means data has been successfully returned, then I want to render that dump component I showed earlier. So that's our list page component. And I'm going to pass through that data that we got from our GraphQL endpoint. And I'm also going to pass through any optional props that we have on here. Need the ellipses, and that's good. Okay. So let's do a quick recap here. I'm going to do a quick check on our bit rate. Bit rate's not great. Okay. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to pop open the activity monitor. The airline. I'll scroll back down there. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Just looking at my activity monitor here. OBS is just being a hog here. It's so weird. I don't know why OBS like freaks out later on in my streams. But I'm letting it chill here. I'm going to wait till it catches up. But I think we should be okay. Oh, this... Whoa. Code is being too helpful right now. There we go. Okay. How are we doing? Can people still see me? Okay, great. We're still going. Okay, cool. Let's test this out. Let's test it out. npm st. So we're going to start it out here. And hopefully, we may have some bugs. Not a problem. But hopefully how this should work is we're going to be using that query, the find all insta post, passing it through to that React hook. And hopefully, if all is good, I'm going to refresh this. Give it a sec. It's starting up that old development server. Pew, 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 pew. Anyone on stream? Does anyone have like a stream deck or anything? Because I've been thinking about picking one up. Insta post on the create page. Yes. But, you know what? We're having a little minor error here because it's freaking out about... So I'm going to actually... We don't need to create post. That's when we're going to be doing some mutations. Don't need that yet. So I'm just going to... And we got a parsing error. No problemo. Let's go check that out. That should be on our list page container. There's the problem. We need to close that up here. Perfecto, that looks great. Create page is not defined in the create page container. Yep, that's fine. I'm going to just equals null for now. We don't need it. Okay, we're good. Great. That should... Looks like we are getting an error with initializing the app. So let's go figure that out. Okay, so it's in the Stitch app. So it looks like it can't see when we're initializing Stitch what this app ID actually is. So I want to make sure that that's all hooked up correctly in here. So app ID, that should be good. Yeah. Client ID must be set to a non-empty string. Yeah, that looks okay. I'm going to refresh it here. Sometimes giving a refresh sometimes works. Nope. Must be set to a non-empty string. Weird. Let's... And that should be config. Yep, that's okay. I see that here. So we're getting... It says a non-empty string, so something's going on with it. I'm going to console log it and see what actually is coming out of that... what's coming out of that? Let's just go see. So I'm gonna refresh that, and hopefully something will pop up in either the console or down here. Great, yeah. So object shows up in there. It's a non-empty string. Client app ID must be set to a non-empty string. Okay, let's try that again. And it's complaining in the index, I think. Or let's see here. I want to see what the path is for why it's freaking out. And Stitch 1. Oh, it's from the core. Okay, great. But it looks like it's initializing it and it's freaking out somewhere. La 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 la. Let's go figure out what's wrong. Config.js. It sees it there. App ID. Great. Cool. Interesting. You know what? I might, I'm gonna restart this. Maybe sometimes it, I can't remember if I created that or changed the config file before or after I started it, so I'm just gonna restart it and see what happens. Sometimes like Webpack needs to like remap the new files. Let's see if that's the problem. So let's give that a refresh. No, still not happy. Okay, interesting. Let's... Client app ID must be set to a non-empty string. I've got another idea. Sometimes it can... sometimes it can not be happy too about access. So I want to just make sure that we can actually access it. So I'm going to make sure we have a user that can access this. And then I'm also going to open this up, so we should be good to go. All IPs can access that. Not good practice, but for sake of troubleshooting, I'm going to just open it up for this. Plus, also, whatever, it's I'm not saving any secure data on internet, so that's totally fine. Great. Next thing I'm going to do too, I'm going to double check the rules on here. So I just want to make sure everyone can read and write. I'm going to redeploy that. This one looks like it's got redeployed. Awesome. Love it. And let's give that a refresh. Maybe. No. Interesting. So it's saying app ID is non-empty. I can see through the config in the console that it is, in fact, there. And AGVN, you're correct. The audio is out of sync. I don't know, this happens with my MacBook sometimes. Always at the end of my string or streams. I don't know why. I need to get a new computer though. Okay. I've got an idea. Let's see here. I think I can... I'm going to actually... I have a working demo over here. So I'm just going to see if I can get this booted up here. Okay, give that a refresh. Starting the development server, just a sec. And I think, so this one is one I know that works. Great. I don't know what the deal is with that one. But let's pop this open. And great. So we have some, this one's connected up to a thing in here, but now we can see actually all of the list endpoints on here. So let's do a quick check on that now that that's working. Set list page container. We have all of our Insta posts. We're passing that through. And once it retrieves that data, we can see here too. I think it's interesting to actually look at the network calls that are actually happening here. So let's take a look here. And if you recall, on our code, we're polling the endpoint every 500 milliseconds. That's every half a second. We're making a call out to the GraphQL endpoint to go get that data. So we can actually see that happening in real time with the network, on the network in the browser. So I want to take a look at one of these. So I think it's kind of interesting to see how GraphQL is actually being sent behind the scenes. So you can see it's hitting our Stitch endpoint. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for everyone. There we go. Make that a little bit bigger. And you can see it's hitting, it's doing a post request to that single GraphQL endpoint. We have that structured query in there. And let's take a look at the parameters. So you can set up some operation names or like function names for GraphQL. We didn't get that today. And you also set up optional variables. That's especially useful for mutations. When you like pass the data to the back end, like IDs and names and descriptions, etc. But this is the interesting part. You can actually see that GraphQL query that we formatted and pasted in there is being sent to the back end as a JSON request, which is super cool. And can I pretty print this? No. This is Firefox. I love pretty printing. And you can see that response that's being sent back to us from the GraphQL endpoint. So you can see we're getting an array of those Insta posts, just like we saw in Graphical. And you can see that each one contains all information, including image URLs, the description, and the UID, and the data type of what it is. That is a long URL. Holy cow. But you can see that all in there. Great. Let's see here. I'm trying to think here. I'm going to pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions so far? No. Okay. Well, if anyone has any questions, for sure ping us on here. I've been streaming for about an hour. I'm trying to think. We got our creates posted, or create our graph. We reviewed GraphQL, introduced it. We talked about MongoDB Stitch and the new GraphQL endpoint. Auto generates all of your GraphQL schema for you out of the box, including all of your queries and mutations, which is incredible. And then we added querying to an application that we had set up. We didn't have time to set up mutations. Mutations, honestly, it takes a little bit more in depth to go into, and I don't know if we have time to do that today. May have to reserve that for next week or another stream. But maybe I'll preview it a little bit. I want to show it and show how it works a little bit, but we're not going to fully implement it like we did with the queries. Okay, let's see here. So, So to do that, I might actually go back to GraphQL. Again, GraphQL is your best friend when you're using GraphQL. It's how I format all my posts. I do all my testing. It's super easy, super fast, and your documentation's baked in to chestnut your requests. And what I want to do is do a test mutation, like a test creation, and see if it works. And then once we do that, we'll call it good for today. So let's get to the good stuff, huh? Let's see here. I'm gonna move this over here. Okay, so let's do just a little test. So with GraphQL, you can either do a query or a mutation. A mutation is basically a put, post, and a delete all combined into one thing. But I'm going to call this I'm going to tell the GraphQL endpoint that we're creating a mutation, right? And we have these two root types here you can see in the Documentation Explorer. So I'm going to click into there. And you can actually see, by default, Stitch created all of these mutations for us. Inserting, upserting, deleting, replacing, updating, many, one, all. You can do some really cool stuff with it. So I'm going to say it's a mutation. I'm also going to give this a name. So I'm going to call this create. Think of the name as like a function name, because when you have a big application, you're going to have many GraphQL queries flying all over the place. And it's helpful to name them so they make more sense to us human beings. It's great to remember like what it does. So I'm going to call this a create. I'm going to be using traditional REST language because I still think like that in my brain. I still have to translate it over when I'm using GraphQL. Great. So I'm going to go over here to insert one instapost. And you can see the arguments that it takes. So I'm going to pass through a single argument. And you denote the arguments or variables with a bling data. And that bling data takes a instapost insert input. Bang. The bang in GraphQL basically means required, because you can structure and validate your queries, and it says if it does not have this, it fails, right? So it's like to create a post, obviously we need a description and an image rel. We can't insert something if we don't get data. We need to be able to have that. So we're going to pass that data through to it. Okay. It does not like that name. Oh. Expected name. And it helps you figure out what the problem is on there as well. I don't know what the problem is. I'm going to finish writing this up and we can try to troubleshoot it too. But so let's go back to the insert instapost. We want to pass that through that instapost or insert one instapost. So I'm just going to copy that over. Great. And then I'm going to pass through that data. So data, bling, and then that data variable that we're going to pass through to it. Bling, bling. And then here we go. And then in here, you put the data you want to retrieve back. So after this is inserted in here, then I want to get this data back. I'm going to prettify this. Okay, so now I need to troubleshoot what's going on. Why does this not like this? Okay, great. So there's something wrong with this bling sign here. Well, let's figure it out. Create post mutation. Unexpected. I wonder. Data. Let's see here. Why does that not like that? Unexpected name. Okay. And I need to set up the variable here. So data. I think that's okay. And we need to pass through all the data we have here too. So we do a description. We'll do lol, and we'll do a image URL. I'm not going to do a valid one right now, just for the sake of time, but I'll do www.google.com. And let's go make sure this looks nice and formatted. Okay. Okay, great. So, still wondering, if I run this too, GraphQL is really nice. It gives much better error messages out of the box than traditional REST endpoints do, which I think is amazing. Okay, so let's double check this. What's going on? Variables, data. Blank data does not appear in any GraphQL query. Should be right there. Why does it not like that? Mutation, create post mutation, instapost insert. Yep, that looks okay. So mutation, insert one, instapost. Yep. And I'm just gonna paste that guy in there. Still no? Data. And interesting. I'm going to try copy pasting this, see if we could fix it. Interesting, yeah. Hey, there we go. Great. I still don't know what I was formatting wrong in it. Tell you what, I'm gonna copy. Oh, did it not like? Oh, it didn't like these brackets. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. Anyway, image. There we go. Prettify. Great. Mutation. So we're creating a brand new post. We're passing through variables to that back end, and we can get that data back. So let's try this one more time. I'm going to do lol2. I'm going to run that, and boom, you can see that in here, and it returns a unique ID too. So that's actually pretty common. Every time I use GraphQL, because I'm still learning it, I still need to kind of figure out how to like structure a GraphQL query, which can be kind of hard. And there's a little bit of a learning curve on it. Luckily, the documentation walks you through it and gives really detailed errors, which is really great. But I was trying to figure it out a little bit. So I'm glad you can kind of see that too, because if you're first starting GraphQL, you might experience a little bit of that as well. Okay, let's see here. You know what? I think so. It is 12:15. I've been streaming for about an hour and 15. I'm gonna wrap this stream up. But quick recap. First of all, happy Valentine's Day. I hope everyone has a great weekend. 2, be sure to follow and turn on notifications too. We stream every Friday at the same time. This is 11 a.m. Central Time for me. I think it's noon Eastern Time, but it's wherever you're at, right? I think we have people from all over the world watching, which is incredible. I want to thank our mods. Max has been Max has been amazing modding down there. So Max, I don't know if you want to post your oh, the monkey. Thank you so much for following. If you want to post your Twitter, that'd be amazing too. Give him a follow. He's awesome, and he streams on here all the time too. He's great. Yeah, give me a follow on Twitter too. I stream all the time on here. If you want to follow interesting stuff that I'm up to, you can for sure check that out on there as well. I post a lot of funny videos about programming, front-end development, JavaScript, Node, MongoDB, all the fun stuff. I'm gonna post I'll post another link to the code base right now, so you guys all have it. And remember too, if you right below me here, you get $200 in free Atlas credits if you use the name Joe Karlsson 200, Joe K Atlas 200, and you sign up using that bit.ly link right after it as well. Let's get that code up. The project I'm going through right now, it's a great way to get started with MongoDB, Atlas, and GraphQL. I think it's a kind of a great way to kind of play around with all of those concepts and get a full CRUD app working as well. Oh yes, Rebecca too. Rebecca's been modding too. She's incredible too. I don't know if Rebecca, if you want to post a link to MongoDB World, which is coming up. I think it's. I'm gonna have to look it up here. MongoDB World. Sometime in June. June 17th through 19th. Oh, nope, that's last year's. May 4th through the 6th. There we go. There we go. I'll post a link in there too. That's coming up. It's in New York. If you're in the area, let us know too. I think, if you use my name, Joe Karlsson, JoeKarlsson, when you sign up, you get, I think it's like 25% off, maybe more. But you should for sure consider going. Rebecca, thank you so much for posting a link to World. But it's awesome. I went last year, had so much fun. I'll be giving a lot of talks this year too. And I'll probably be streaming too. So if you want to join the stream or come hang out, that'd be a great place to go. We'd love to see you in real life. I think that's it. We'll be posting a link to this video on YouTube shortly. I'll be posting on Twitter too. So if you want all the information, that'd be great too. But I think that's it for today. I guess we'll catch you guys next week, and thank you so much for stopping by. Bye, everyone.